and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting edition of your show. That's right, the Kickout Crew. I want to welcome you. I, of course, am James Delacour, and I want to thank Alex Kane for last week's episode. Hell of an interview. I want to thank everybody for the positive feedback on that. That dude's going places, so be sure to check that out for sure. But I'm going to get today's ball rolling on this episode because obviously, you know, I talk enough. So I'm going to kick it over to, I guess, Adam, because we've got a very special guest on today.
Oh, man, I was able to reach out to a real good fellow we've met in Chicago a few times. I mean, he's been doing a lot lately between Fight TV and the Premier Streaming Network. He's actually the producer and an on-air personality and an IAW TV award-winning host of the So Says Shernoff Show. And he's also the VP of Programming and Creative Development of the Premier Streaming Network. He is Mr. Josh Shernoff himself. I appreciate you joining us today, brother.
Hey, no, thank you for having me. That was great. I don't know where that bio was, but it nailed it. It was good. Yeah, no, happy to be. I'm VP of Program and Creative Development and also one of the co-owners and founders of Premier Streaming Network. So very, very excited to be able to be here wearing my Premier shirt straight out of one of my meetings. So this is how you look professional, you know, when you have to do these Zoom things. I have to wear, like, there's got to be some collar or something like that. But I'm excited. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
No, brother, thank you for joining us, man. I mean, I've been trying to get you on a couple of weeks, and it seemed like our scheduling and everything. And I was had Alex Kane on last week, and I've seen him on the Premier Streaming Network a couple of times.
Yeah.
So and it's just all linking in together somehow. I think we planned it that way.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect,
sure.
right? Yeah. Just
But,
take the credit, man. Take the credit for it. Plan this, map this
Devin,
entire thing out.
Devin, you got some questions or anything lined up from Mr. Josh?
Absolutely. So to get into this comedy business, commentary business.
I say we're in the comedy business too. So
Improv, baby. That's what
yeah,
I'm saying.
man. Stay tuned.
I apologize. But so I imagine you had to go to college. So can we start there? Where'd you go?
I didn't have to go, but I chose to. No, I went to I actually did my first couple of years at Montgomery County Community College, which is cool because that ended up factoring into my career much later. But then I went to Temple University in Philadelphia, and I went to school for elementary and special ed, and then I went and got my real estate license and worked in commercial real estate investments for a couple decades. And now I'm doing all of this in wrestling. So, you know, college, I highly recommend it for people. In my case, it didn't do anything for me, but it's still, you know, at the same, it's funny. I wish if I could do it again, I wish I would have been able to know what I was going to be able to do, because there are classes there. I always look back and be like, man, I should have been doing like creative writing even, right? Or then all different types of media classes. But, you know, at the time I didn't, you know, we didn't have things like this, make me nice and old, but we didn't have things like social media and stuff like that. So like, there was never this idea. Now everybody thinks they can be like a star, even if they can't. But now we can, you know, the playing field has been so leveled that I feel like if I was growing up now, I would feel like this was more easily accessible. Doesn't mean I'd be successful, but it would be more easily accessible for me to try and break into the entertainment business in some form or fashion. Back then it was like, yeah, that'd be cool. I'm not going to go get a communications degree because the hell am I going to do with it? Right. So, short-sighted on my part, perhaps, but yeah, that's my story.
Honestly, I was expecting like a broadcasting degree or something like that. But
No, just, I had many, many, many years of training of just talking people's ears off about wrestling. So that was just a hobby of mine that I managed to parlay into a career.
So let's talk about
always been a fan of wrestling?
Yeah, no, my whole life, as far back as I can remember, just a huge fan of wrestling.
So let's talk about the Premier Streaming Network, because I feel it's really taken by storm here. Like all of a sudden it's everywhere. So can you explain what it is, how you got into it, and what are your expectations for it? And can we get a free trial?
Yeah, right. I think I know somebody who could help you out with that. So yeah, Premier Streaming Network. You had mentioned before my working at Fight before. Had great opportunities there. I think I definitely gave my best efforts at all times there. I saw an opportunity for more. I saw an opportunity. And when I say there are other partners as well who all saw this opportunity at different times. And then it all just kind of came together. But I saw, more opportunities for myself, for my career. That's why I chose to leave and just pursue other things. And when I gave my notice, I had a couple of things potentially lined up, had some ideas of what I wanted to try. Part of it was a little bit of, I don't want to say burnout, but it had been pretty much, I did take a vacation and I worked every single day through the vacation. So, I worked nonstop at that place. I gave it my all. And then it was just kind of like, okay, I need to do something a little bit different. But while I was there the entire time, I always had in my mind of just, everybody who works, whatever job they work, I think everybody can sit back and when you're not directly inside the bubble, if you're even outside, just, 1 degree of separation, you can look at it and go, I'd do that a little differently. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're wrong. Right. But it doesn't matter. You at least have this opinion in your mind that you can do something differently. So when I was presented with the opportunity to even consider being a part of a startup, instantly I kind of had the whole list of all the pitches I'd given, all the ideas that I'd had that never came to fruition at my other place of employment, and thought, well, it was one of those things where I really went back and forth, and I thought to myself, man, you think your ideas are so good, put your money where your mouth is. If you really think, oh, I know everything, because we all go through that. And I said to myself, like, okay, are you just somebody who whines and complains to himself going, oh man, I could do it better? Or are you someone who really can do it better? And if you really believe that you can, then try. And that's, in a nutshell, kind of what happened here. I believe that with Premier Streaming Network, I think that the relationships with promoters and content creators, the way that we are, just the whole culture around it, I think is just a different spin on it than other places, and not just a place where I'd been before, but other companies that I hadn't worked for, but that I knew enough about. I just think we're doing it differently. And I'm very proud of what we're doing. And so far it's working because everybody seems to really enjoy working with us. And, I think what Premier is, for people who might not know and are listening to this or watching this and going, who the hell is this guy? And why do they have him on here? I think the best way to describe it is we have created a streaming service that kind of champions the independent content creator. In this case, as in the wrestling case, it's championing independent wrestling. And I know that you might say, well, okay, but there's also these other platforms, but those are places where you can watch independent wrestling. What we've done is really taken it and said, we're going to present it in the best way possible. We have collections of talent. We have playlist events broken down. Right now, we have this coming weekend. I don't know when this is going to air, but this weekend we have CZW Best of the Best is on pay-per-view and part of Premier Plus. Right now, if you go to watchonpremiere.com or premierstreamingnetwork.com, or download the app, wherever you get your apps, download it on your television. I'll give all the plugs later. But if you were to download that right now, you would see there's a CZW Best of the Best every single year for the last 2 decades of that promotion. Every single year's Best of the Best show is on there, right there in the main page, right there, easy for you to find. And that's stuff that other places just can't do. I don't even say that they won't, they just can't. It's a technological aspect to what we do, so for us, it's about being able to curate. It's about being able to, we're like a museum in that regard. We have these old libraries, but then at the other side of it, we also are presenting the brand new projects, and every promotion, if you click on it, it almost becomes like their own little network, which is all about them, even down to the color scheme of the of like the years, the buttons to click on the years. It's all down to look and feel like whatever that promotion's branding is. And then we also have wrestler profiles that we have some on the main page, along with collections, guys like MJF, Kevin Owens. We have El Generico, which some people believe was Sami Zayn. We have, Adam Cole. We actually have 2 Adam Cole collections. We have the Matt Cardona collection. And it's just all of their matches from various times on the indies up until even today, some new matches. So it's exciting. It's it is a right now primarily pro wrestling streaming service, which is great for your listeners. But we are actively expanding into other genres of entertainment. We're very excited about it. Obviously, Freddie Prinze Jr. came on as a co-owner. Very excited to be working with Freddie, and part of that is just really bringing the entertainment side of wrestling. And a lot of people, I know there's this, and I'm long-winded. One of you said you're long-winded or you talk too much, but you have no idea until you sit down with me what talking too much is. But the one thing that we're doing is the wrestling showcase, the premier streaming network wrestling showcase. I have over here one of the belts from last year. Talked about us being in Chicago and stuff, but we had that. Well, this year we're reimagining the whole thing. We just announced Matt Cardona is going to be in the main event for the premier streaming network championship. Him winning that tournament last year is what gave him that spot. He earned that spot. We're still deliberating who his opponent's going to be. But that is going to be a championship that is going to be defended on all shows all around the world, of all shows that stream on Premier Streaming Network. So all of our companies. So it's kind of trying to remember what, we looked at it as kind of like revolutionizing the territory system for, the digital age. I think Freddie called it something like cyberpunk territory or something, but that's the idea, is kind of creating almost like a new territory system through that for wrestling and bringing everyone together, not just saying, hey, you can put a show on here and we'll air it, and maybe people will know about it. Did that answer any of your questions?
Well, what's funny is I knew that was going to be one of those questions. So, but it's important. It's important because it's a big part of your life right now. We definitely want to know, and we're hearing about it everywhere. So it's important. And
Awesome.
Our good friend Efren's on there now, which
Efren, I love Efren. He is a incredible human being, and the game event is awesome. And he just had a new episode last night as we're recording this, and had a beautiful tribute in the beginning to Josh Odom, who I know, you guys knew Josh, and he was a part of the team. Tragically, we lost him last week, and he had just started working with Premiere. Just a incredible guy, and I think Efren really did him proud. Josh edited the episode that aired last night, and I think for the next 6 weeks now, moving forward, are all the final pieces of work that he did. So very proud to be able to share that. He was an incredible guy. So, and Efren is doing him justice. So it's awesome to have him on the platform.
Awesome, for sure.
Yeah, that's how I first heard of the Premier Streaming Network as well, was because of Efren. And then the next thing I heard was Freddie Prinze Jr. coming aboard. So I just want to ask you, what's your relationship like with him?
With Freddie?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Really good. It's weird to, there's not a lot, being in the wrestling business for so long. I've lost that, oh my God, I can't believe this is so-and-so or whatever. And it's funny, Freddie is so down to earth and just such a cool guy that it's never been like this starstruck moment. I mean, obviously I have an abundance of respect for what he's done in his career. be it in entertainment or what he was doing in WWE. But he's such like a cool guy and fun guy to talk to, especially about wrestling, that it's never been like, oh my God, this is so weird, I'm on here with Freddie Prinze Jr. But there are some times where I'm just like, I'll see something, I'll be like, talking to my partners, be like, okay, yeah, I'm going to shoot Freddie a text real quick and just see what's, where you do kind of stop and go, all right, I remember watching She's All That and Summer Catch and, and it's funny. Like I always joke, like, I don't know if I was a fan of Freddie or just incredibly jealous and envious of the people he was co-starring with. So, I just always wanted to be him, I suppose, in that regard. No, he's an awesome guy. We have a great relationship. He is incredibly hands-on with what we're doing. The wrestling showcase is one that he's very passionate about. He's very hands-on with it. We're producing a new content, in the beginning stages of working on some new stuff with him. And it's amazing to be able to have that opportunity to work with a guy who is so knowledgeable about the business, has been, where he was in WWE. He has an education that, you can't just go out and be like, yeah, I'm going to go find a writer for WWE. Oh, by the way, it's also somebody who spent their entire adult life in the entertainment business. Oh, it's somebody who also is married to someone who spent their entire adult life in the entertainment business, and they're friends with people who have been, their entire lives in that business. So there's such an education that we get to have. And in turn, he's been very kind to credit us for the education that he's getting as far as the independent side of wrestling and really learning that and the promoting side. So I think he's excited to get into that. But it's a great relationship. He's a great guy. And it's really fun to be working with him.
Did you ever meet his dad?
No, his dad, I believe, passed away before I was born. Not that old, man. I'm not that old.
No, I'm kidding. But no, I mean, like when you said like, the entertainment, like life and everything, like, I mean, hell, he's, who better to have, really, honestly.
Yeah, no, I mean, in this, for a company that is focused on professional wrestling and entertainment and really educating people that professional wrestling is the greatest form of entertainment. And I know that wrestling fans and even wrestlers like to have this fun little, I'm a pro wrestler, I'm not a sports entertainer. It's like, listen, man, if you're not a sports entertainer, then you're not a very good pro wrestler, because pro wrestling is entertainment. And I get what they're trying to say. I get what they're saying. No, I'm not a goofy character. I am a skilled technician in the ring. And that I respect the hell out of it. And I get it's a buzzword to go, I'm a pro wrestler. But the reality of it is the greatest you look at guys like FTR, right? Unbelievable tag team. You would look at them and say, no, they're not sports entertainers, they're pro wrestlers. And what I would say, and listen, I'm never going to argue with them about it, mainly because I don't want to get my ass kicked. But the way I look at it and go is like, no, you're not some goofy character in the sports entertainment, comedy, cartoon world. But the fact that I can watch you in a wrestling match and I can become like what their matches with the Briscoes and become so emotionally invested and so thoroughly entertained, you're an entertainer. You're putting on a performance, and it's just a different style of performance. So to me, it's the same as going, listen, the most slapstick comedy versus the darkest drama are still, shows being acted by professional actors, so that's kind of my take on it as far as sports entertainers or this, that, or the other. I don't know. It's all entertainment to me. And we want to be able to educate people that every style of wrestling is just another incredible form of entertainment.
Absolutely.
I got you one. I know the Premier Streaming Network still fairly new and, getting going and everything, but is there something that just really just kind of sticks out to you that just surprised you, that you've added to the network, is there something that you ran across that just, wow, that just really wowed you since you started this?
I think obviously having Freddie Prinze Jr. come on board was a little bit, Well, that definitely was not on our radar when we started this thing, when we started working on this back in November. So there's that. But I think for me, it's kind of the ideas that have come out of this. Like when we began this, when we launched January 15th of this year, we had a very clear, concise vision of what our company was going to be, at least in the beginning. And that versus the conversations and the meetings that we are a part of on a daily basis now, and the things that we are building within the app, within the business as a whole, are surprising to me in the best way. I love the creative process in that regard. We have just come up with things so quickly because things just moved and succeeded so quickly. Because I think we were really just presenting something people wanted. I mean, that's the trick to it, right? Like we're giving people what they want. We're listening and trying to say, okay, you don't like this? Well, we'll change it. We've been very lucky that no one's really given a, we don't like this. But we look and we say, okay, what else do you want? And we also, we're never satisfied with it. So that's really cool too, because I think part of me felt in that it was very quick when, November started and I started working on this. And then January 15th, it was kind of like this race to January 15th. And like, once this launches, we can sit back and go, oh, we did it. But that is not how this has been. It's like, okay, we did it January 15th, and January 16th, it's what's next. Let's, keep moving. And we already have, we're like Marvel over here. We've got phase 2 and 3 and 4, planned out and mapped out, and we really know what we want to do. And, that's something that we always kind of allude to, of like when people will compare us or say like, oh, you're competing with this one or that one, or, we're not, I'll be completely honest, like something like Fight, we don't consider them a competitor. And some people might go, well, that's kind of weird because you guys both have wrestling. We're just we're in a different business than they are. And, I can remember that story of, and I'm in no way comparing us to Vince McMahon or comparing, them to Ted Turner. But, and when I say them, I mean Fight, I mean IWTV, I mean any of these other, DAZN, any of these other things that are out there. I remember when the story of where Ted Turner called Vince McMahon and said, hey, Vince, I'm in the wrestling business. And Vince said, congratulations, Ted, I'm in the entertainment business. And I look at it that way, in the sense that there are other platforms out there that produce or that air the same content that we do. But it's night and day. Like that's the only connection of it, that and that you can download it. Like that's it. So we're really, and that's the stuff that's continued to be exciting for me, is to discover that we are something more than what we originally expected to be. Instead of just going, hey, we think we can do this, but better. We've now just gone, okay, we can do this, we can do that better. And that is just a tiny, tiny sliver of what we are actually doing as a whole, as a company.
Yeah, because you were with Fight for like 4 years. So I can imagine being, you got a nice job, you're comfortable, and then all of a sudden you have this idea, and how is it to give a sure thing up, to bet on a chance that you don't know that'll work? How is that transition from one to the other?
So I left independent of this idea. I left because it was just time for me. Like I pride myself on knowing when it's time. It's one of those things where if it pops in my head and I go, yeah, I'm done here, I need to go somewhere else and do something else, then I'm done. Like it's just in my mind. And I still listen. I worked my ass off till my very last day. I still was putting in, the 80 hours a week or whatever the hell, it was a lot, but I have pride in my work, and I also have respect for the people that employed me. So I owed it to them to not, phone it in on my way out the door. So when I left, it was kind of this like uncertainty of, I don't know exactly what I'm going to do next. but it took me a lot of years to have confidence in myself, and learn that it's okay to not exactly know what's next, but to just kind of stay open to everything. So for me, it was easy. I remember, the day before I gave my notice, I was at an AEW show in Philly. It was on my birthday, and I'm backstage. I was standing right behind where like the announcers are on camera, but I was like behind, they had that pop up behind them. And then I was behind that. So like to the right of their gorilla position. And I'm standing there and I'm looking and I'm thinking to myself, specifically because it was on my birthday and it was at Leocora Center, which is where they hold Temple graduation and everything, it's on the Temple University campus. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, if you had told me as, a 10-year-old or a 20-year-old or even a 30-year-old, if you had told me that this is, hey, you could just stand here, not being involved in the business, just literally stand backstage at a televised professional wrestling show, and that's your birthday present, I would have gone, this is the best birthday present I've ever had in my life. This is incredible. And I thought to myself, I'm planning to walk out and resign and maybe never do this again. And I was totally at peace with it. And that was when I knew, when I stood there and I'm like, this is anything I've ever wanted, but I'm ready to go. That was when I was just like, then the decision, it was instantly easy for me to make. So yeah, leaving a sure paycheck and whatnot is, that's obviously a conversation my wife and I had before choosing to do it. But it's also, look, man, your mental health, your physical health, these are things that are more important than a paycheck. And it was something that I felt it was time for me to just do something else. And I don't mean it like this was some horrible negative thing. Like I had some of the best experiences of my life and career were working for that place. It was just time, people evolve and things change, and it was just time.
Well, I remember our conversation in Chicago when we seen you I can't remember where we was having lunch, but I saw you and your brother and your wife, and you had talked about how you just been working, and you was ready for vacation. I could tell then that you put some work in, especially that weekend, but
yeah, and I'm proud of it. And I don't, I don't say it like to complain. Like, listen, I was paid well and it was my job. And also there are plenty of times where I probably could have not worked as hard, but it's just kind of in my DNA. Like, that's just kind of how I am. Like, I can't turn it off. If I keep having ideas, I keep wanting to make it better. I'm the one who brought up in a meeting for Ric Flair's last match of just like, hey guys, does Ric Flair have an entrance video? And everyone's just like, I don't know. Cause a lot of the guys were getting their entrance videos from, if they were at MLW, they would use the MLW video, or if they're at, Impact, Impact would send their videos. And I'm just like, and they're like, yeah, maybe we can see about getting it from Impact. And I'm just thinking in my mind, you don't want him coming out to his Impact Wrestling, entrance video and all. And I'm like, he deserves better than that. So I just kind of raised my hand. I'm like, well, I can make it if you want. Which I'm glad I did. Was it a ton of work? Yes. Was it one of the coolest things I've ever done in my entire life? Yes. So I have no regrets of volunteering that. And through that, I had the privilege of doing Jeff Jarrett's entrance video for that event as well. Doing a number of other videos. And I really feel, this was not told directly to me, but I almost feel like part of that thank you for the commitment that I showed, because I did all like the lower third graphics for that. And I think part of the thank you was Conrad calling me and saying, hey, I'd like you to do the backstage interview with Jerry Jarrett and Jerry Lawler and Jeff Jarrett. And to me, again, it goes to that kind of, and this is maybe that creative mind, but to me, that was worth more than any money I was making for my job, because it was an experience. It was something I got to do. It's actually, I don't know if you can see behind me right there is the Ric Flair's last match tie that I wore, which is actually signed by Rick and has the little, what are they called? The little rhinestones from his robe, has a bunch of leftover rhinestones from when his robe was made. And then actually even has a rhinestone from the robe from after the show. It's actually glued onto the tie. So that's like a prized possession. And Rick signed it and everything. But so yeah, it was an incredible experience. But yeah, man, I was exhausted. I was, I was a little bit burnt out, but it was more of the fact that I had ideas that I knew were good. I knew were better than ideas that were being used. And at some point when you're just kind of beating your head against the wall going, I can make this better. I can make this better. Please let me make this better. And I'm being told, no, and again, listen, maybe I'm being told no, because these people are smarter than me and my ideas are not as great. I'm full of my own stuff. Right. But for me, it was time to just say, okay, I can't keep doing this, because I'm not the type of person who just clocks in and clocks out. I'm not the type of person who should be like, all right, you just want me to do this, I can just do this. Like I need to make things as good as I possibly can.
So let's talk a little wrestling.
Yeah, why not?
Are you going to Wembley this year?
I am not. No, I will be watching, but I am not going to be there now. I wish I was. That would be awesome.
What do you think of all this? What do you think of them going out there?
I think it's great. I am a big fan of just the more success there is in the business, the better it is for everybody. Better it is for the fans, better it is for the boys and girls in the locker room, better it is for the employees. A lot of people never think about the employees. Like they always talk about, look at all these wrestlers that when WCW went out of business, look at all the wrestlers that lost their jobs. Well, there was like twice as many in just employees of the company that lost their jobs, And so to me, like, I think it's amazing. So I look at that and go, man, I hope they sell that place out. I hope it is as many people as can physically be crammed in to Wembley Stadium. And then I hope that this creates a big boom in the international market for AEW. And I hope that this in turn helps to, I won't say reignite, because it's a really good, I think the international, like in the UK and stuff, the independent scene is really, there's decent quality there, but to kind of make it bigger, I think having everything always kind of follows WWE in a way, right? If WWE's up here, then everybody's up here. So I think if AEW can help with that too, I think that would be incredible. And I love the fact that they're willing to take a chance. And I will say the one thing that kind of bugs me a little is when people go like, oh man, how amazing, All In. The first All In, they took a chance on themselves and sold out, the Sears Center. And now the second All In, they're going to do Wembley Stadium. And it's like, well, hold on a second. The second All In is being produced by a massive company that is owned by a billionaire. Yeah, it's the same name. Yeah, AEW is the the spiritual successor to All In, but it's very, very different. But at the same time, if that makes fans excited, then why not? And the people who are hating on it, like, man, get a life. I don't understand it. Just why? For what reason? You don't have to like it, right? It doesn't have to be your thing, but they're not hurting, they're not beating up Santa Claus at the show. Like, why do you care? Let them go have a great show. If you don't like it, and don't watch it. That's your right as a consumer. So I wish them the best. I hope it's an incredible show. I wish I was there. I wish I was there in person to see something like that. But at the same time, I also am one of those people that like WrestleMania, every year that I have the opportunity to go to WrestleMania, when I'm there working WrestleCon or doing something like that, I usually end up just watching it back in the hotel room, because I love the full, the full story. I love the commentary. I love the camera angles. So it's kind of the same thing. I'm pretty excited to be able to just sit back and watch it.
Have you had the chance to be at a UK event? Like, have you been able to be a part of anything in particular?
No, I never have. I've been to the UK once. and it was on a trip with friends. It was not wrestling related. Yeah, that's definitely, you know, on the bucket list, to be able to work in the UK. It just hasn't had the opportunity yet. And I think that's a big yet, because, you know, we have a lot of plans. And I have all the intentions in the world of finding my way out there in the next year or so, and working out there.
That's amazing.
So who's the next up and comer? Who's the next who's the future of wrestling right now?
I guess it depends on where you see people, right? So like in one sense, like I look at the biggest up and comer in my mind is MJF. And what's funny is he's AEW world champion, but I feel like he has not even scratched the surface of what he's going to be 10 years from now. And so I would say MJF is the biggest up and comer. He would be furious at me for calling him an up and comer, but I think if you understand what I mean, like, I just think he is, it almost proves my point even more so to look at how successful he is. He is at the very, very top of his company, the top of the industry where he is. I know a lot of people are like, I hope he doesn't go to WWE because he'll never get to really be MJF. I think he just would be a better, not even a better, just a bigger version of MJF.
I think he'd be able to become that superstar.
Yes. I think, and this is not a WWE versus AEW thing. This is just a reality thing, right? Like, you can be the greatest, the greatest college football player, right? But can you be, like, people can look at you as like the greatest college football player of all time, hands down. Oh my God, he's incredible. Okay. But then there's the NFL. So, you know, where do you stack up there? And to me, that's WWE. WWE is the top. It is the pinnacle of this industry. And I think if you look at Cody Rhodes is a perfect example. I think that proves my point, because Cody, you did not have a bigger star in AEW than Cody Rhodes. There was no bigger star. And that Cody Rhodes against the Cody Rhodes that walked down that aisle at WrestleMania, these are two completely different people. The Mania Cody Rhodes is all the way up here. And that takes nothing away from the guy that was in AEW, but it's the presentation, it's the feel. Some of it is just, we've made it up ourselves. It's just our vision of it, right? Like, when you can buy two things, but you choose to do the name brand, even though they're made in the exact same factory, because you've convinced yourself that the more expensive name brand is better. So there's maybe an aspect to that, right? Maybe it's not actually bigger or better, but it's how we perceive it, and perception's reality. So to me, yeah, the biggest up and comer right now is MJF. But to give you an answer that's more along the lines of what you're probably looking for, there's some incredible talent I do commentary for, and we air Wrestle Pro on our network, on Premier Streaming Network. And there's some talent there that I am just so impressed with. Most of them have initials for names like LSG, GKM. These guys are just so talented. I feel like there is, and there's so many more that I'm not, coming up with the name, but there's so much talent on the indies that I feel like they're going to at some point break out and be bigger. There is, I'm trying to think, there's some other guy, I'll think of them, but there's some other guys that just impress me so much, that are there and that are at a lot of the other promotions that we have on our platform. And that's something else that I encourage people. It's not just about independent wrestling. It's about the independent wrestlers. We have these amazing libraries of ECWA and CZW and stuff like that, where you can go back and you can see these people who were more or less no name. And it's like, oh, well, who are they? Oh, Bobby Roode, Cash Wheeler, Christopher Daniels, Bryan Danielson, AJ Styles. And these are all people that nobody really knew at the time when they were doing this stuff. Kevin Steen, El Generico, as I said, Adam Cole. So what I would say, and this is kind of turning back around to a pitch for Premier, is you might, and this is what the whole wrestling showcase is all about, because every match on the wrestling showcase is being represented by a different promotion on our network. So it's an opportunity for you to see some of the talent that is out there, because some of these guys we have so much action Andretti. And now here he is, he bursts out onto the scene. We've got a ton of stuff of the Acclaimed, and, we have a ton of MJF and stuff. So you look at these guys who now are these stars. They're now starting to, Andretti is still relatively new, but he's really starting to come into his own. And I just feel like that's what I want to encourage people. Come watch this stuff. You might not really know who these people are right now, but in 10, 15 years, you're going to go the same way that somebody that was watching, ECWA Super 8 2001 is now going, oh my God, that guy's main eventing WrestleMania, So that's what I think there's so many. I couldn't even really pick one, because there's so much young talent that I think is, going to kind of revolutionize the business, really, really change the game a lot.
So I think Adam's going to get the match started in a minute here, but in the meantime, I'm going to ask you one more question.
Yeah.
And I know this will go right into the match. Who had the better, we talked about it a few weeks ago. Who had the better indie run, Matt Cardona or Cody Rhodes?
Matt Cardona's indie run isn't done yet. So that would be, I don't think you'll know until it's over. But I think they've been very different. I think Matt has kind of established himself much more as an independent wrestler. Whereas Cody was making the towns, but Cody was always kind of his independent run. Matt was at Impact as well, but Cody was there. He was doing his stuff with New Japan. I feel like Matt is spending a lot more time really being an indie wrestler, whereas Cody was learning and was trying to, but I think in some ways Cody was a bigger star when he left WWE. So I think in some ways Cody was always going to be seen as this big get, this guy who chose to leave, this, and of course he's a Rhodes, and there's what comes with that. I think Matt was kind of like, oh, Zack Ryder, what are they going to call him? What is he going to be, like Mr. Woo Woo Woo? And he's, going to come out there and do his gimmicks and stuff. And Matt just reinvented himself. Whereas Cody didn't so much reinvent as much as he evolved, if any of that makes sense. Yeah. But again, Cardona's run's not over yet. So I think when his indie run is done and he ends up if he ends up back in WWE, which I believe he will eventually end up back in WWE. I don't know if that's going to be this year or next year or the year after, but I think he will. And I think at that point, you're going to be able to see the full picture and say, okay, who really had the better run? And it doesn't always mean who had the better success in WWE after the fact. But I think at that point, you'll be able to know who had a better run.
True.
Awesome. We were arguing about it a couple weeks ago. I was just curious of what you thought, and if anybody would know, it'd be you.
Yeah, I'm curious what you guys thought. Like, what did you say?
We did agree that we thought Cardona it's still going, and I think that was the overall consensus, that Cardona is still going, and Cody's at the end of it now, but man, he really did reinvent himself out there and basically started a promotion from it. So it's really, honestly, we talked just what I'm doing right now. We talked in circles.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. It's kind of, you're comparing two things that maybe can't be compared to each other, but yeah, it's fun to do. And it's fun to think about. I just think Cardona has had a better, if I had to guess, I'd say, I think Cardona has had a better indie run. I think he's done more for himself, whereas Cody, I think, almost did more for the business and himself. But I think the actual run itself, the buzz that's been generated. But again, you got to remember, it's hard. It's quick to forget that indie wrestling and social media and all that, it wasn't where it is today. And, you know, when Cody left WWE, you didn't have Premier Streaming Network, you know?
Boom.
So, you know,
Right.
you didn't have, it wasn't as readily accessible. You couldn't watch all these shows. They were on maybe YouTube or like some, you know, some random little streaming service. But it's like, yeah, now Cardona is just showing up everywhere. And that's why now he's going to be competing. That belt that you see Mike Chioda holding over his head, you know, the Wrestling Showcase Championship, that he's carried with him all through the indies for the last year. And he's going to carry that right in September 9th to the Wrestling Showcase in Metuchen, New Jersey, which is where that's going to be held at the Sportsplex there. And he's got an opportunity now to be representing Premier Streaming Network as the champion. And that's not something that's ever really been done before.
I would have thought that we would get there from that show last year. I mean, you probably had that idea in your head, right? But we didn't know. We just thought that was something you were doing for us.
What, for the showcase?
Yeah.
The showcase. We thought it was something for top
Yeah.
guys for ad-free shows. That's what we thought.
You know, it's funny. And in a lot of ways it was. We're like, hey, that audience is there. That's the audience we kind of want, you know, to have there. And a lot of it was really my brother Fred kind of dipping his toes back into the wrestling business, and me kind of, you know, looking at it going, you know, trying to find something that fulfilled me more than what I was doing. And I think, you know, a lot of what came out of that was, I think there was a lot, you know, for Fred, my brother specifically, was the one who walked away and looked at the experience that he had and the way that he felt he was treated as a promoter by the place that was streaming it. And I think looked at that and said, well, man, I would treat people way better. I would treat a promotion way better. And that's where, unbeknownst to me, he started having these thoughts. And, you know, that's kind of what, you know, led to him even talking to Freddie and stuff. So it's all, you know, we didn't do the showcase with the idea of like, all right, we're going to spin this off into a network and we're going to have a whole, we really, listen, man, we got that belt with a removable plate for the dates, because our intention was that this year you're going to have a Wrestling Showcase tournament, which honestly was our intention. I was literally driving to the building to meet with them about in New Jersey. And it was a phone call with my brother that just in that call, we're just like, what, you know, he hit me with the, what if, you know, what if this was a true showcase for our network instead of just some little, you know, tournament that we're putting on that once a year? What if we really took this as an opportunity to showcase all the great promotions and great talent that we have? And man, it's just snowballed from there. But I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. It really was for you, you know, it's still for you, but it's, you know, we've just evolved.
I can say one thing. My sister, she came with me to Chicago that year, and she said she had a better time and more fun at the showcase than she did at All Out.
Wow.
She enjoyed it more than
I'll
she
tell
did.
her we really appreciate that. That's awesome. That's what we wanted. We wanted a show start to finish. Didn't feel like it was too long. Didn't feel like it was too short. And there was a story throughout the entire night, and we just wanted people to have fun. We just, you know, we didn't run it like a traditional indie show. This showcase will not be run like a traditional indie show. There's going to be no intermission. It's you know, we're a network, so it is going to be shot for a network. And, you know, I'm very proud of what we were able to put together for the Wrestling Showcase for the first one. And I think that this next one's going to be just a whole other level.
Awesome.
Are you going to call the second one? Can you call the second one Wrestling Showcase 2 Electric Boogaloo?
That has been tossed around. And, we're working with Mike Dawkins to yeah.
He'd be the guy to work with for sure.
Yep.
But
So you said that the Wrestling Showcase is a tournament of all your independent companies. Do you already have all 8 selected?
No, so it's not anymore. So it originally was a tournament. Last year was a tournament. This year, every match, it's not going to be a tournament. Every match is going to be representing a different promotion. So for instance, you know, match number one, and this is not the order, but match number one is going to be two people representing WrestlePro. And we will have, a video package there showing the audience, this is WrestlePro. This is what this is. Just a little quick thing to show them. And then they have that match. And then the next match, hey, this is CZW. And here come two guys from CZW. And then the next one, here's ECWA. And that's what it's going to be. So every match is going to be a showcase culminating in a men's and women's premier streaming network championship match. So two matches there. And I can tell you, we haven't announced yet. I do know the women's match. And it's going to be really, I don't believe it's ever happened before. And at first I think some people would be like, interesting. That's kind of I wasn't expecting that. But I think it's really going to deliver and really be a great opportunity for both talents to shine.
Nice.
Yeah, I love those matches that you don't know you want until you hear about it, and you're like, I didn't know I wanted that match until it's announced, and you're like, hell yeah, I really want that match now.
Yeah, no, I think people are really going to be excited about it, and you just come at, one of the cool things is like, you don't know. I want you to come in not knowing what to expect, right? Like that's the whole idea. You come in and go like, the biggest wrestling fan in the world isn't watching every single promotion, that's on our network. So this is a great opportunity for you to get a little taste of it and see what you're missing, and be able to have a more educated decision when you decide, hey, do I want to buy this pay-per-view, or do I want to subscribe for only $9.99 a month to Premiere Plus? So, it's a great opportunity to really show everybody what I guess, showcase what we have, right?
Boom.
There you go.
You also have podcasts on the Premier Streaming Network as well.
We do have podcasts. Tomorrow will be, right now, available now is Sabu Speaks, Sabu's podcast,
Yes.
which is kind of a watch along. He had Mikey Whipwreck on, so that's on now. And then we have tomorrow night. I don't know when this will air, but so Friday the 19th is going to be One of a Kind with Rob Van Dam, hosted by Dominic D'Angelo, and super excited about that, to have Rob's podcast on here. And I mean, he's got such a unique career, and really excited for that. We got Ted DiBiase on, and we're really building out that podcast network. And more stuff to come in that podcast realm. We got more announcements coming soon, and yeah, super excited about it. And then original content too. We are working on, we have a production company that we are working on. That's something that I'm overseeing, and we're working on a lot of original content. And, one thing that we're making sure to do is not announce anything until it's, at least half in the can, so that we know it's coming, right? Like nobody likes that when it's like, I remember WWE Network would like announce a show, and then it was like 2 years later, and it's like, well, all right. Is that ever
We've
gonna
only got
happen?
one episode of it or something on there.
Right. So yeah, we're trying really hard to be able to make an announcement, and then while everyone's excited, deliver relatively quickly.
Well, hey, if you're looking for a grassroots and like really independent, I know a couple guys. That's all I'm saying.
There you go. Yep. Hey man, look, we are always open to we're open for business. We're
show for the
open
fans,
to talk to anybody. Yeah.
Sure, it's your show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We haven't said that in a while, James.
Gotcha.
Well, hey,
So I got the match fired up, ready to go.
let's
So
kick
go
this
ahead.
off.
James has to introduce it. Yeah.
What match is that, Adam? Well, it is Josh Alexander versus Jacob Fatu versus Matt Cardona. Is for the Wrestling Showcase Championship from Wrestling Showcase 2022. It took place September 3rd, 2022 at the Mahogany Ballroom at the Hyatt Regency in Schaumburg, Illinois. It had an attendance of all of us because we were literally all there. And, more people also. But yeah, every one of us was there, so that's pretty cool to do. And it had a match length of a little over 7 minutes. But that's enough about that. How did we get there?
Is that for me?
Yeah, it's whoever. I do
How
that
did we
part,
get-
and then somebody else takes it over.
All right. Yeah. I mean, and am I answering this of how we got
No, I
there?
mean, we
Of
kind of.
course.
Okay. It was a one night tournament, and my best friend in the whole wide world, Matt Cardona. I should say my best friend in the universe. Matt Cardona, he was viciously attacked after his first round victory over Tatanka, the legendary Tatanka, who demanded to be on the show because Matt Cardona hurt his feelings when he talked about how he had Tatanka had a Hasbro repaint, but it was so bad that they just released the same thing. They didn't even like repaint it just because no one was buying his figure, which I don't know that that's true. I had his figure, so but Tatanka, he was really upset about it. And after Cardona beat him, Tatanka hit him with the papoose to go. And that was it. Cardona, we thought had severely re-injured his bicep. He had obviously, this was his second weekend back after his torn bicep. And thankfully his contract stated that he was able to have Brian Myers, take his place if he were to be injured. So that's what happened. Brian Myers took his place. Unfortunately, Brian was not able to get it done. But the good news was when it came time for round 3, Matt Cardona was healed miraculously. It was an incredible thing to witness. Celebration ensued, and Matt Cardona was then welcomed into the match as he should be, because technically he never actually lost in the tournament. So now that he was by the grace of God healed, he was able to enter this match, and it became a triple threat thanks to our host Karen Jarrett, who made a tremendous decision by letting Cardona into this match, and here we are.
Miracles happen every day, brother.
Oh man, it was just, man, I don't know that I've ever cried so hard from joy as to when his music hit and he walked back out. It touched me. It touched me.
It
So.
sounds like that was extreme. One of my favorite shows. Sorry, I had to get that in there.
Hey, that was
love
extreme. Episode 1 of That Was Extreme is available on Premier Streaming Network. It is on there.
Nice.
Rumor is that the remaining episodes that aired on ad-free shows will eventually find their way over to Premier Streaming Network. But right now, episode 1 is on there, so you can watch that.
Yeah, that was so great. And the
Those
interaction
Zooms
afterwards
were fun.
was so
Those
great.
Zooms were so much fun.
They were so
man.
fun.
No, we had a great time. Joel and Meanie were just, they were awesome to work with. It was just a situation with his, as I got busier and they got busier, and just, it was tough to be able to do that. And you'd think like once a month wouldn't be that tough, but just, it got more challenging, for me to try and read. I don't know how Conrad and his team read Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez and stuff. Like it's to the point where like, I don't care if it's 100% true or 100% false. I can't read it. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, it's not like, it's just like a stream of consciousness that I'm like waiting. I'm like, I know there's gotta be like a comma somewhere in here. Like at some point a period has to appear, and it oftentimes didn't. So yeah, that was challenging for me.
All right, let's start this bad boy up.
All right, 3, 2, 1, and play.
The gorgeous championship.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Will the people watching and listening be able to hear the commentary on it?
Yeah, I got the sound share.
Who are the announcers, James?
You son of a bitch. Well, it's Josh Shernoff and Johnny
LaQuasto.
There it is. Wasn't even gonna try.
I'll help you out there, Johnny LaQuasto.
And sideline reporter John Alba.
Yes.
Yeah, you beat the hell out of him the whole time.
Oh man, John Alba. It was a cool idea what he did there. That was his idea for that sideline reporter stuff, and John did a great job. Unfortunately, we couldn't hear him. And beautiful kick by my Oos.
Oh, yeah.
As he super kicks Alexander.
You know, him and I always Solo. I was gonna call him by his name from before, but him and Solo once and Rikishi once deemed me an honorary member of the Samoan dynasty years before this whole honorary Oos stuff. So I'm just saying, I think I was the first honorary Oos.
Nice.
See, James, remember we got deemed honorary Ooses that weekend.
Yeah, we got to hang out with Jacob, and he called us an honorary Oos, and I'm about like,
no, he's a great dude.
I made it. I made it.
Yeah, what a fun guy to hang out with.
He's a soldier, man. He was out till 5 or 6 in the morning and didn't miss a beat right here, man. It's amazing.
Yeah, this is the night before this.
Yeah, no, he wrestled 3 times.
Josh
Alexander too, dude. Alexander, not only did he just kill it in the ring like nonstop, but I can't think of a better person to do business with. Honestly, I would say that with any of them. Steve Macklin, Deanna Parazzo, Johnny Showcase, Taya Valkyrie, of
Rich
course,
Swann wrestled like
Rich
10
Swann,
times that weekend.
Rich Swann, who I love. It was so important to have Rich. I actually am hoping he's going to be at the showcase this year as well. Maybe representing CZW. I don't know if he will. Tune into the pay-per-view this weekend, see who walks out CZW champion. Maybe it'll be Rich. He's in that tournament, but no, my last match in wrestling was Rich Swann's first match, and I've been friends with Rich ever since. And so it was really important in doing this show that I had that opportunity to just get to work with Rich in a slightly different way. Even though he kept wanting to get me in the ring, I'm like, dude, I'll turn to dust if I take a bump. But look at this. Look at Jacob Fatu, man.
Unbelievable.
Beautiful.
Taking down Alexander.
So, I mean, for a big man, it's just
Who can do what Fatu does in that
incredible.
Yeah.
So, Josh, how do you like playing the heel announcer?
Oh, I love it. It is, I've done some play-by-play work and all. That's such a harder job. Being the heel is, being a good heel announcer or color commentator is, there is I do like to think there's some skill to it. But you have to know your places. You have to balance. How are you being funny, making people enjoy listening to you, but not making it all about you, not making it, not trying to get yourself over at the expense of what's in the ring. And so sometimes that's challenging because you'll have a joke that you want to throw out there, or you'll have a comment you want to make, and but it's tough because then afterwards you'll say, you go, oh God, I just took away from something that was going on in the ring. I shouldn't have done that. But it's also your dancing partner, man. That's what matters. I've had great opportunity to work with some really talented people. I've worked with Joe Dombrowski. I've worked with, I work consistently all the time with Dave Sturgio at WrestlePro. I love working with Dave. He and I think have tremendous chemistry. And I think working with Johnny was awesome too. Johnny and I had never worked together. And it felt like we'd been doing this for years. So, I mean, he is just an incredibly talented announcer as well. And I'm hoping, I talked to him yesterday actually, and we're hoping to have him involved in the showcase again this year. So yeah, man, it's fun. I love being the heel commentator though. It's a lot of fun. And look at this, man. Just goes for the kick. Fatu goes for the kick. Alexander drops one ankle lock, catches him, goes to the other ankle lock. These guys, like, again, Cardona had wrestled twice. These other two had wrestled. This was their third match, and they are in here like, and look, I'm not going to take anything away from the showcase. We worked really hard and we're very proud of what we did, and we wanted it to be really special and important. And these guys treated it as that it was as special. Man, look at that.
That does not.
they treated it as though it was as special to them as it was to us. And that meant so much. They did not treat this as, hey, it's just a booking on a Saturday. Well, let's see. And I like to think that a lot of it was the respect that we showed them. And, you know, we really went out of our way to take care of them because we knew they deserved it. And there's Moose. You know, obviously everybody knows their storied history and Impact.
Yeah, and they fought each other in the first round.
They fought, yep. And they you know, Moose had vowed beforehand. He didn't say, I'm going to become Wrestling Showcase champion. Moose said, I am going to make sure that Josh Alexander does not become Wrestling Showcase champion. And, you know, and here you go right there. And that was Moose. Moose's obsession with Alexander was so strong that it really had, and then Moose ate that guardrail. It was so strong that was his entire focus. And here comes Fatu. Now a lot of people, I would never say this, but a lot of people felt that Fatu had that this belonged to him.
Yeah.
I feel like he had it.
Has he not been through enough for you?
You're talking to a
Chelsea
couple of
did
them.
Chelsea was worried sick, and she came out there. And listen, you can't, when you love somebody as deeply as Chelsea loves Matt Cardona, you can't blame her for doing this. And then he slapped, or she slapped him because he said something horrible to her. You couldn't make it out on camera, but it was something really offensive. And then Brian Myers, listen, this is his best friend's wife. Like, what do you expect him to do, right?
Oh.
And then, so what happened was she actually tried to do like a schoolboy pin to get him out of the way to save him from Brian Myers. But unfortunately, she got her arm stuck, and these things happen, you know?
I thought she was going to give him a dead belly driver, and she just couldn't get him up.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
And just, I mean, I think we went into this show cold. Everything was cold, you know, and I am very proud of the story that we were able to tell, that these wrestlers are able to tell. This is my favorite part of the entire show.
I was about to say, my favorite part is coming up.
Here we go.
Right here.
There it is. Yes.
Yes, I'm very proud of that.
Shout out to Alba.
Was
So
that on the
after-
fly?
Yes. So after the show, so we went to dinner at Lou Malnati's, which is amazing pizza. And that was, I believe, I wiped away a tear at one point. That was very emotional for me. And it was no, listen. I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden, somebody shows me someone had made a GIF of me pushing Alba, and it just repeated again and again. And it was one of the coolest moments of my career. But this just ended. This just had such a big feel to me, and maybe, you know, I'm too deep in there. But this, I just thought, was such an awesome ending. And Cardona, you know, all kidding aside, we could not find a more hardworking, dedicated person to take that title and carry it. And our intent was for him to spend a year carrying that Wrestling Showcase title, educating people on the importance of the Wrestling Showcase tournament. We did not expect to have a promotion, or I'm sorry, not a promotion, a network that would be doing its own special. But now we really do get to show that him winning that is how he gets to go on to the Wrestling Showcase, premier streaming network Wrestling Showcase, September 9th in Metuchen, New Jersey. And of course, obviously streaming live on Premier Streaming Network. It's going to be really cool. I hope you guys, I don't know, it's in Jersey. I don't know if you guys will be able to make it. I hope you will. And it's, yeah, it's going to be good. I will say, tickets go on sale to the general public on Tuesday. This coming
What part
Tuesday.
of Jersey, Josh?
Metuchen, New Jersey. So it's I'm trying to think where that is exactly.
Well,
It's
I live
actually-
in Levittown, PA, so I'm just asking.
Oh, dude, listen, you're fine. I'm coming from Pennsylvania as well. So like, yeah, if you can get there, it's going to maybe take you like an hour 15, something like
Okay.
that. It's what is that? The Newark airport is about 30 minutes from it. So that's where, you know, like talent will be flying into and stuff. So I think so now, yeah. So if you want to go stand at the airport with something for them to sign, piss them off, that's where they'll be flying into. But
Tell them Shernoff sent you.
yeah, right. But if you do want to bring something, even if you can't make the event that night, Squared Circle Expo is teaming up with us, and they will be presenting. I want to say it's from 1 o'clock to 6 o'clock that day at the venue. There will be a full expo. Every single person that is competing will have a table. Every promotion, and then tons more stars that aren't even going to be on the show. And I will give you a bit of breaking news right now, just for fun. I'm not going to tell you who, but we will be presenting a Lifetime Achievement Award to somebody in the wrestling business. We will announce who that is ahead of time, of course, but we will be presenting an award. So that is another added thing. And we haven't announced that yet. So here you go. This is as a thank you for you guys having me on and letting me just talk and talk and talk. Yeah, we will be doing that. So stay tuned to our social media for that. Really excited about that because, again, that's part of us looking at what we do as kind of like curators of history of wrestling. So we do feel like we want to be able to have that opportunity to honor people in the wrestling business. And if that's something that we can do, you know, annually, to be able to present another, you know, an award. But of course, the first one is going to be somebody, you know, incredibly deserving. And I'm excited. I'm really excited for that. It's going to be a really special night. It's going to be very different than the last showcase in format, but I think it's going to be even better. I think it's going to be even more special. Yeah, I'm excited. I hope you guys will be able to make it. And yeah, also, I mean, you know, reach out if anyone watching this is looking for vendor tables, you know, send us a DM on or send something to info@premierstreamingnetwork.com. If you're looking for vendor tables for the expo. And yeah, we're going to be blasting out emails for when tickets go on sale. You know, already annual subscribers have been able to get in early and pick up some tickets. So yeah, make sure that you do it when it goes on sale this Tuesday. It's going to be a can't miss event. And the venue is not small, but the venue we have 500 tickets total. That's it. We wanted to limit it because a lot of it, we wanted a small, packed, just crazy audience, because that's what's going to translate well on the network. And I want to be able to, you know, I want people to understand, like, you know, this isn't something where you can have there's not going to be 2,000 tickets. So like, this is going to be real fans are going to be there, you know, real wrestling fans are going to buy these tickets. So really excited about it. We're really pumped for it.
Hey, Josh, I have 2 fan questions before you go, if that's okay.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
All right. This comes from Mike Gallagher. Mike Gallagher is a top guy with ad free as well. He's
Awesome.
on a show called the Zip Code Bros. So this is very a question specific to him. He goes, what advice can you give up and coming podcasts trying to build an audience?
So one thing is consistency. It's the kiss of death is to just be like, yeah, you know, we're going to be off the next 2 weeks, but then we'll be back. You got to be consistent. It's how you find that audience. Also, be patient. Know that you're getting it. Do not get into podcasting to make a living. If that happens, that's amazing. Do it because you love it, because you're passionate about it, because you are going to be doing this podcast to like 20 people at first, and celebrate those 20. And when it hits 25, celebrate the 25, because one thing I learned when I was doing the Mind of the Meanie podcast, and we were very lucky to have more than 25 listeners. But one thing I learned was, you know, we were doing it. We started it during the pandemic, and we got a message at one point from a guy who had been in the hospital, and he sent us a message saying that listening to our podcast is what helped him through his stay in the hospital. And I looked at that and I said, you know what? Meanie and I both, like, that meant so much to us. And we looked at it and we said, like, that one person listening in that moment was all that mattered. So it wasn't like, so sometimes look at it and go like, we were doing this, we had fun. Of course, you know, you want to make money and everything, and you want to be able to be successful. But when you have somebody say to you, it's great when someone's like, oh man, I loved it. Like you guys talking with that was extreme, you know, saying that you love that. Like that means a lot. It really does. Cause we worked hard on it. We wanted to make sure it was entertaining. And I know everybody loved the Zoom calls afterwards more, but you know, including us. But when somebody says something like, hey, that helped me through my time in the hospital during it, because you also have to factor in during the pandemic, they didn't have visitors. You know, this is so like when that clicked to us too, that like, this wasn't somebody like, they didn't have a way to interact with anyone or socialize with anyone. So something like that. And I'm sure we were not the only podcast they were listening to that helped them through, but just for them to feel like they needed to send us that message meant so much to us that we were just like, we did not start that with the hopes of like, man, maybe we can really help people. But then we ended up really helping people. And that was incredible. So my advice would be like, do it because you love it. Celebrate every single person listening, because you don't know what that person listening is going through. And you might actually really be helping them. Or honestly, you might be helping them pass the time while they're driving to work. Like even that, man, is something, right? So it's really like, I've never lost that feeling of just that I feel so fortunate to be in a position to have ever had anybody come to me and go like, man, I really loved what you were doing. Or, hey, I really enjoyed that. Even when it's not a deep, like, hey, that got me through a rough time, but like it's any of that time. Like, I don't take that for granted, because I'm just sitting here in my office. You know, I could be talking to nobody. The fact that people are giving me their time, same way with our network. When we see people are tuning in, they're giving us a chance when we're brand new. The same thing, even just having promoters being willing to work with us when we were unproven, you know, it means a lot. And so that's the stuff that's the type of advice I would give, is just to stay humble with it. Don't expect success just because you're doing it. Don't expect success. Do it because you love it. Be patient with yourself and be consistent. Oh, and get good gear, good audio gear. It's important. Meanie and mine was all right. Meanie's was atrocious for the first like few weeks. And then a guy from Rode reached out to us and did a deal with us for these. This is what I got from them, and Rodecaster Pros, and anyone who listened to mine and the Meanie knows exactly when that happened, because it sounded a million times better, and we didn't stop talking about it. And we kept hitting things like stuff like that. But yeah, man, it was that could have been Meanie's fart. I didn't know. I was just gonna hit it, and I think I still have that stuff on there. So, but yeah, just stay consistent with it and do it because you love it.
And this is not an ad, right?
This is not an ad. This is not an ad.
It's funny that you say that, because a lot of our show, like, we kind of prided in, like, you know, kind of being that escape. Like, you can click play and hang out with 5 friends, you know, and just have that like little escape from everything. And that's kind of our motto, and why we're called the Kick Out Crew, is because, you know, when life gets you down, you just kick out it too.
Awesome.
One more question. One more question, Josh, from Josh Fields, also top guy, Josh Fields.
Great name.
Don't know if it's been asked yet before, but how is your perception of the wrestling business changed as you stepped into the promoter role?
So I first started promoting when I was 15. Oh. So I've been in the promoter role for a while, but I would do it and then step away. And then I came back when I was 18. Part of that was State Athletic Commission saying, you can't do these shows, you're 15. But I was wrestling at the time too. So it was always kind of a weird perspective. It definitely had the potential to sour me to the business, because you're not always going to work with people. You're not always going to end up with a locker room like we had at the Wrestling Showcase. That was just top to bottom, just incredible human beings that was just a privilege to work with. That is not always the case. So, you know, but I think my view of the wrestling business definitely changed, but my view of wrestling fans' view of the wrestling business changed. If that makes sense. And the news outlets and stuff, the media, that changed, because once you're the promoter and then you're reading about something that you were actually a part of, or you were backstage for, or you know what's going on. Ric Flair's last match, I was obviously not the promoter, but was fortunate enough to be able to sit in on a lot of the meetings with guys like a Conrad or a Jeff Jarrett or people like that, and sit in on those and listen and learn. And one of the things that I picked up on that was, and I remember first experiencing this down when I was wrestling down in OVW, and you'd see the reports that were coming out of, well, this is what's rumored to be happening. And you'd sit there and go like, yeah, that was never rumored to be happening. It just wasn't. And I'm sure they didn't make it up and were told by somebody, but you know, it's somebody has their best guess of what they think would be great for Ric Flair's last match. Doesn't mean, you know, doesn't mean that's going to happen. I also had a respect. I remember one time we did a show back in 2007. We were doing a internet TV taping for the TWF, which is the various belts that I have behind me. If you couldn't tell, we were Winged Eagle fans from 99 to 2007. Those are the two different belts. You can also see how much smaller I was in 99 around the waist. But the thing that I learned, I remember we were doing this taping and we were taping 3 shows. And half the roster no-showed. And you can imagine those 3 shows now were very heavily the same people wrestling on it. I remember this one girl who fancied herself like a wrestling fan. And I think she tried to train at one point or whatever. And she was like a super fan of our promotion, which, listen, I really, you know, was appreciative of, but I remember she like talked to me afterwards. She came up to me and was just like, this was really bad. You guys shouldn't have done this. And she starts like listing, like, instead of this match, why didn't you just book this guy? Why didn't you have this one show up? Or how come, Justin Cage wasn't here tonight? You should add him on the show. Well, Justin Cage didn't answer his phone and no-showed the event. That's why he wasn't on the show, because he was booked for 2 segments. You know, like and that was one of the things that I learned, that it changed my way of watching professional wrestling. Changed because every time you see something and your instinct is, dude, why did they do that? Trust me, there is a reason, and chances are that wasn't their original plan, and something changed. Someone got hurt, and just, you know, you can show up and a guy has an injury that isn't going to involve surgery and isn't going to take them out of a backstage segment and isn't going to make the dirt sheets. But it's why they didn't have this match, because they knew they had to be out for a little bit of time. So that is my experience as a promoter and my experience working with promoters, whether it was Al Snow and OVW, or whether it was, you know, watching Alpha, the Wild Samoan in WXW, or, any of the places I've had the opportunity to work, or the times I've been a promoter. I'll tell you right now, you know who was supposed to be going to the finals of the Wrestling Showcase? Killer Cross, until he showed up on SmackDown a month before the showcase.
I remember that announcement of like, he's got other commitments now.
And listen, he could not have been more professional and more amazing to deal with. He offered to come out for free and do an autograph signing. He just couldn't wrestle. And I said to him, I was like, yeah, I think they're going to be in the UK that time. So I'm like, I don't even want to promote it on the chance. I don't want to take anything away from you. And he was great, him and Scarlett both. But that changed things, you know, that obviously changed things. Tony Nese, first match, that was it, I think, right? It was Killer Cross and Tony Nese was the first match announced for the showcase. Neither of them were on there because Nese did not have the same contract with AEW when he was booked as he did by the time the showcase came around. And that changed. And, you know, you would have people who are just like, well, how come, you know, you should have kept him on the show. Should we have? Yeah. Could we? No. So, you know, so again, that's it. That is my super long-winded answer, is to say that it changed my perspective of watching the show or listening to other people talk about it. And I don't mean that they're out of the know just because they're fans. They're out of the know the same way I can't tell you what's going on in you know, WWE on SmackDown. I'm not there. I'm not backstage. So I have no idea. It made me appreciate that if you're not there and you're not in that room or on that call, don't assume that you have any idea why a decision was made. So
Nice.
That's my answer.
So Josh, it's 8:30.
Yeah. I got to rock and roll. I told you it's 8:32. I said I had a hard out. I had a hard out at 8:30, but I talk so damn much that even though you guys were gracious enough to let me out, I am still here talking. But no, thank you guys so much.
It means a lot to us. It really does, man.
Oh, yeah.
No, man, I appreciate you guys anytime somebody just wants to listen to me ramble on, it's first of all, my wife appreciates it because it's less time that I'm rambling on to her. But no, I appreciate you guys, continued success with the podcast. I think it's awesome what you guys are doing, and yeah, keep doing it. And let's do this again soon.
Yeah. It's your show.
Thank you so much, brother.
Thank
All
you,
right, Josh,
Shernoff.
thanks so much.
Take care, guys.
Oh,
Thank
yeah,
you.
appreciate it.
Have a good one.
That was really cool.
That was great.
That
I
was
want
the
to thank
easiest
Josh
guest
Shernoff.
I think we've ever had.
That's like a network like executive, man. Like, hey, look at us, huh? Look at
And we
us.
got breaking news.
Dude, that was awesome. Man. Yeah,
Yeah,
Breaking News
I
is
like
amazing.
Shernoff a whole lot, man. He's a really cool dude. But
Yeah.
So we he talked a little bit we covered the finals of the first wrestling showcase, where it was the king of the death match, Matt Cardona, with his arm draped over one of the bloodline, Jacob Fatu, with one of the greatest referees of all time making the count. Thought that was a fantastic interview. Thought it was great covering the match. What's next, guys?
well, you know what's next. It is the hottest rising segment in podcast today. That's right. You know it. You love it. Whatever. Anyway, it's Adam. Wakka Wakka Wakka. Sorry, man. Gotta fade it out on that intro.
Man, I got a couple of corny ones because I was looking through a couple of different sites, and these are just kind of just short and corny, but for some reason they still made me laugh. What do you call a sleeping bull? A bulldozer.
Mm.
Because he's falling asleep. See?
Oh yeah.
Why is Peter Pan always flying? Because he never lands.
Ah, that was good.
I like that one.
That one was good.
Let's see. I seen one just a minute ago about lost it. When I read it, it was freaking hilarious. But how do you make an octopus laugh?
How's that?
With tentacles.
Ah,
Yeah, you just give him a little tickle. That's
At
all you
least
gotta
this
do.
show is funny.
hey, last one was pretty good, man. I thought last week's was epic.
Let's see here. What does the stork do once he delivered the baby?
Fly off.
He lies on the couch and drinks a beer.
Heard that? Yeah.
I'll end on that one because I figured that I'd like to drink the beer part.
Yes, sir.
Keep it short and sweet.
It's definitely a dad joke.
Boom. Look at Devin, huh? There
Okay,
it
here's
is.
the one I really want to do. How do you fix a broken pumpkin? With a pumpkin patch.
Ah.
Wakka Wakka Wakka.
But yeah, I've seen a couple of these just short, corny ones, and I thought they were pretty damn good to me.
Word.
Oh, there's another. Yeah, I'll just save these for the next week.
Hell yeah. That's a teaser for next week's episode.
Some oldies but goodies.
Man, well, that was a great jokes, and can't wait for that little teaser of next week's episode. So but hey, we're gonna keep the laughs rolling with another one of everybody's favorite segments. It's an FMK with Brad. So Brad, take it away.
I mean, because we had Josh Shernoff on today, obviously he's a man with a microphone. So let's go with the women with the microphone and the men with the microphone in the wrestling business. So we have Renee Paquette, Kayla Braxton, and Lexi Nair.
Wow, dude, really?
Devin, yeah, there's nothing here that's easy.
All right, so starting it off with the most gorgeous one that I believe is on this list, and that's who I'm gonna marry because she seems down to earth and chill too, and that's Kayla Braxton.
Yeah,
I'm marrying her. Next, I think I'm having a fun night with Lexi Nair. It just seems like it'd be a fun night. Then out of process of elimination, I'm sorry, but Renee, she's got to go.
Wow.
just remember with Lexi Nair, you're following a big cast there.
Well, if I was going with Renee, I might get beat up by Moxley. So
Yeah, I'm just saying. All right, Mike.
All right, so I'm gonna marry Renee because I'm scared if I say I'm gonna kill her, John Moxley might come and beat my ass. So
marrying her is totally fine.
marrying is totally fine. Man, Big Cass, he's a big dude, but you know what they say about some of those big dudes they get. So I think I can hang out, with Lexi and satisfy, if that's so to say, and kill whatchamacallit, Cattle Bricks, whatever her name is.
Kayla Braxton.
Yeah, Braxton.
You're killing her?
I'm gonna kill her. Yeah.
The hell is
All right,
wrong
I
with
can
you?
satisfy the other ones. So
I'm marrying Kayla Braxton because she's my favorite. I'm one night with Renee because if she can have a wild night with Moxley, I can imagine what she can do with me. Because to keep him happy, she's got to be doing some crazy shit. Ain't okay with that. And just and by process of elimination, Lexi Nair is just, she's out. I'm sorry. She's gorgeous, but I just have a funny feeling Renee just 50 Shades of Grey type shit.
All right, James.
All right. Well, I am going to marry Renee because, if she likes a guy like Moxley, she may like a guy like me. I'm not saying that I'm like crazy like that dude, but like, she doesn't like the norm, I guess you could say. So I'll definitely marry Renee. Wanna, fuck Miss Braxton, old Kayla. Love that. And it appears that the other one's gonna be diamond cut out of here, I guess. So Lexi Nair.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's who she is.
Yeah,
Right.
I believe that you're not letting Lexi Nair feel the bang.
I mean, hey, I'm not saying
You're right about that.
I mean, she's just the odd one out. Like, I'm not saying anything bad about her. She's definitely attractive, and she likes, whatever.
It's funny.
She likes oddball characters too. Big Bill.
He's too positive for me, so.
This was tough. I'm gonna tell you why. I've obviously we've talked to Renee before. She was on a Zoom with us, and she is cool as hell. She's classy on TV. She.
Yeah, dude. Last night watching Dynamite, I was like, man, Renee's sexy. Da da da. Jesse, well, I've seen better. I was like, yeah, okay. Doesn't mean she's ugly. Like, what do you mean? But I think he was just talking shit. Like, whatever, dude.
But I think I love Kayla Braxton. I think she is smoking hot. Yeah, she's like that 4'11" girl, the dark skin, the dark eyes. It's right up my alley. So yes, I'm marrying her.
Curly ass hair.
And this was tough because I do look at Lexi when she's on there. But I can't kill Renee. I can't kill Renee. But at the same time, it's weird just the effort too, because like she's this classy lady. But that's what it's gonna be.
Cause they can get at a bar one time. You good.
Yeah. So this next one was tough, and I don't even like my choices here, but we're gonna do it anyway.
Oh
So
Lord.
RJ City,
Ooh.
Todd Pettengill, and Jonathan Coachman.
What the
Boy,
hell?
here we go.
Yeah, this is the bottom of the freaking barrel.
got this.
Go ahead, Devin.
Yeah, don't do it. They're all,
All
good
right,
at what
so I think that I'm gonna have to marry Coach.
they do.
I'm just gonna marry Jonathan Coachman, and we're gonna watch golf for the next 60 years because we know he's a reporter on that now. Then I think RJ City, I'm gonna have a one night stand of fun with him because he just seems like he's a goofball and could be a riot. And then out of process of elimination, Todd Pettengill he's got to go.
All right, Mike.
I'm gonna be same with Devin. I'm marrying Coach because it's fucking Coach, and he get. I mean, fuck, he was in there with The Rock. Rock made fun of him, so fuck, why not? Yeah, and then RJ City. That's one night stand. He'll be a good night. You know, have fun, go out, party, and everything else. And Todd, man, he got to go.
So the only thing that worries me, Mike, about me and you marrying Coach is he's done with wrestling. He doesn't want to talk about it. He doesn't want anything to do with it anymore.
Yeah, that's good.
So, like,
I mean,
how are we gonna stop talking about wrestling?
I was there on
Marrying
his
Coach.
last wrestling interview, courtesy of
It's all
every
right.
shows.
My wife
don't-
doesn't want to talk about wrestling.
if I'm married, and that's why I'm marrying to him, because I ain't got to talk to him if I'm married to him. So we're married.
Look what you're getting into, Devin.
Yeah.
All right, Adam.
Who's next?
I've almost got to agree with the Devin and Mike, man. I'd have to marry Coach, but it's because I know I'd have a secure future. Because I mean, he's got a, you know,
He's good.
He's got a great career going, and he's got something else coming up. You know, he's, you know, on the Golf Channel or something now doing stuff. So you know, golf ain't going nowhere anytime soon. One night stand with RJ City because he's hilarious. It ain't gotta be one night stand. We can do it once a week. I don't care because I like RJ City. I like that hey EW he does. Freaking hilarious.
I love it.
And much as I love Todd Pettengill, I'm sorry, man, but you're Audi 5000.
True.
Oh, that's
All right,
funny.
James.
Well, guess I'm marrying Coach because you know I like sports and all that stuff, and I think you know being Coachman, like he's got that history at ESPN. He's you know definitely doing the golf thing now, and you know although he doesn't talk wrestling, yeah, he probably still there's probably some contacts. He'll be like, hey, you know,
He'll
Well, yeah,
talk behind the scene, behind the
probably-
camera. He'll talk.
marrying Coachman. Let's see, man. I guess I'll fuck RJ City because Pettengill's just too like kind of the wild and
Too
zany
old?
he is. Yeah, I don't do well with the like you know, hey, you know, like all that. Well, no, that wasn't Pettengill, was it? That was that other dude.
That's
Whatever.
Sean Mooney.
That who I'm thinking of? Yeah, I think so because Pettengill wasn't really. No, Sean Mooney was the whatever. They're the odd man out anyway, killing, so it doesn't really matter.
They're both dead. Sean
Marrying
Mooney and
Coach I
Pettengill.
guess fucking RJ City.
All right. I am the same. I mean, we are 5 for 5, and that is a first for
For
sure.
real.
Yeah.
For all
Definitely.
the same reasons too. So anyway, guys, thanks for playing. Sorry about the guys this time.
I'm just
Oh,
happy
yeah.
it wasn't like JR and Tony Schiavone.
I didn't want to do commentators. I wanted to do the backstage announcers.
Yeah, because when you started this, I was expecting like Mean Gene, you know, Shivani, like
they were on a short list.
What about
Yeah.
Taz Excalibur, and Tony Schiavone?
Jeremy Borash, you know, some shit like that.
Thought I'd mix it up a little bit.
Hey,
So-
Jeremy Borash lives pretty close to me, and we're friends on Facebook, which
Maybe a
means
future guest.
he just confirmed, you know, like when I hit add, he confirmed it. Because I'm also friends supposedly with Cody Rhodes, and I don't believe that is Cody Rhodes at all on that Facebook account. Moving on. So is that we FMK'd out? You're muted, Brad, but it appears that we married, and killed that segment, huh?
Sorry, guys.
Hey!
Yeah, I keep doing that because I'm coughing. So
Yeah, you good. So well, you know, what else is there to watch and you know, take note of and everything, and can't wait to see what, you know, current past events get talked about on this.
Current past
anyway.
events.
Yeah. But anyway, it is time to hit what are the people paying attention to, Devin, with Devin's demographic. So Devin, what you got?
This Sunday, May 28th, Sammy Guevara is going to win the World Heavyweight Championship.
His microphone.
I knew some type of bullshit
AEW
was coming.
Double or Nothing, the Fatal 4-Way. AEW champion MJF is going to be taking on the future champion, the Spanish God, Sammy Guevara, Jungle Boy Jack Perry, and Darby Allin in a Fatal 4-Way. It's going to be insane. We have FTR taking on Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. Oh, we have Orange Cassidy putting his title on the line in a 21-man battle royal. We just had
Blackjack something. I can't remember.
yeah, but whatever they call them, it's the Royal Rumble. But we have Wardlow going against Christian Cage in a ladder match for the TNT Championship. Jamie Hayter versus Tony Storm in a championship rematch. Watch AEW Double or Nothing this weekend. It's going to be absolutely insane, guys.
Fuck yeah, Devin. And isn't it funny how like Darby Allin could fuck around and win the big belt, and Wardlow's over here getting like jumped and all this stuff for like the secondary belt?
They're opposite sizes.
Yeah, that's where we're kind of getting that, you know. But hey, RASSLI, that's wrestling. And I want to shout out to Pat McAfee for joining ESPN. I know it's going to be like 10 days old by the time this airs, but that's big boy
awesome.
shit right there. That's big boy shit. They have a show. I don't know if anybody's watched it, but they have a show that's kind of like easygoing, like kind of like ours, you know. And look at them.
He's been good.
Some of us have. I've heard the nickname the Pat McAfees of the wrestling atmosphere before. So
that's true. And maybe we can join a network that is streaming and probably premiere in the near future.
You never know.
Yeah. So is that what you got, Devin?
That was my demographic. Back to you, Jamers.
Yeah.
Right on, man. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Oh man. Well, I wish I could you know, digest what you just called me right there, but I guess a better way to digest things is Mike's Meat Minutes. So Mike, what you got for us this week?
Well, actually today I'm gonna do something a little different. I'm gonna do a marinating sauce. So you can put this on anything. You can put it on chicken, you can put it on pork, you can put it on steak.
Hey, before my dad butchers you, Mike's Marinade Minute. So Mike, what you got for us this week?
All right, so this is a Mojo marinade sauce is what this is. What you need is about 2 or 3 oranges. You need about a half a cup of fresh squeezed oranges. You need 1 lime squeezed in, 1 lemon squeezed in. Then you want a teaspoon or so of olive oil. You need a half of a yellow onion. You need some cilantro, some garlic, jalapeno, some ground cummins, some dried oregano. What the fuck it's called?
Who's Cummins?
Oregano. Yeah.
Whose Cummins are you grinding up?
Oregano.
Oregano. Yeah, oregano. And some salt. And all that's to taste. You're going to take all the other seasonings, chop it up, put it in a blender, dice it up, add your shut up. Half a cup of orange juice, freshly squeezed orange juice, your lemon juice, and your lime juice, and your olive oil. Put it all together, mix it all together in a blender, and you can put that on chicken, you can put it on steak, you can put it on pork, you can put it on anything. And it's great for everything.
I
Hell
love
yeah.
it. Saucy 60 seconds.
Saucy 60 seconds. There you
Wait
go.
to say that, could you, Devin? For those of you at home, we put that in the group chat. Or the,
Hell yeah.
What's coming?
I can't breathe.
Oh man. Well, hey, why don't we let that marinate a little bit? I guess it's time to see what we got coming up next week. So Brad, give everybody a little teaser of what we got next week.
Now, if you listened last week, you kind of already know, but next week we're going to have MLW's Mr. Thomas. Mr. Thomas is part of the Womae Fight Club with our good friend Alex Kane. He's been around in the business for well over a decade. He's had other names like Thomas Sharp and Blaster McMassive. So we're excited to get him on the show. We are going to
like the
I
coolest
love that
band
name,
of
Blaster
all time.
McMassive.
and we are going to be covering a match with him, Blaster McMassive versus Silver Ant from Shakara. It is on YouTube, and we'll watch that one along back with him. The second match we're going to be covering will be, because Mr. Thomas is kind of like a heater, kind of like a bodyguard in a way, we're going to cover Diesel. Oh, wait, I got it here. Let me pull it up. From Diesel versus Jeff Jarrett, February 20th, 1995. That is a Raw. So then we're kind of like, our themes is there so that we know we have two like bodyguard type characters. Also, I have a special announcement. As you guys know, I was a little sick today. Sorry if I bothered anybody today, but we
That's
powered
why he
through.
looks like shit.
I definitely do. Last week it was mentioned on the show that Allison Faye is exclusive to the Zip Code Bros. Just wanted to put it out there that that is not true. I have spoke to Allison, and actually, because of this, we are going to be doing a couple bonus shows. It is going to be called the ABCs of the 80s, and what that stands for is Allison and Brad critiques the 80s, and that is coming soon. So
Sunshine versus Precious.
Oh,
you never know. She's got some movie ideas. We're not going to do wrestling, movie ideas, TV ideas, and borderline ridiculous stuff.
Oh,
for sure.
Non-wrestling bonus stuff, huh? How be damned.
Yeah, I had a great idea about more to sports. So I don't.
I'll be damned.
so does that mean she's an honorary member of the Kickout crew?
Well, I'll tell you what she's not. She's not exclusive to the Zip Code Bros.
And that is the Zip Code Bros. You can catch on YouTube and all your podcast platforms and all that stuff. If we're gonna plug them every fucking episode, we might as well, just fucking
Yeah, they're not
get
on
it out
Spotify.
there.
Anyway, that's next week. Well,
Ooh.
not that bonus show.
Yeah, but boy, Brad, you just muted yourself with a wave of the
Nine
hand.
times today. 9 times.
Like Shernoff says, sometimes miracles do happen.
That's
Brad's
a-
mic just shut the fuck up. So that's we're done, huh?
Yeah,
Where-
that's it.
Yep.
All right.
Let's wrap her up, baby doll.
Want to thank Brad for joining us today. I know you feel under the weather, but definitely could not have done this without you. So thanks for toughing it out for us. For real. I definitely want to thank Josh Shernoff. You can reach him at So
Standing
Says
show.
Shernoff, I believe.
Yep.
It'll be at the bottom of the screen. You can reach him at that Twitter handle that's at the bottom of the screen. And he dropped his email earlier, which is going to be at the bottom of that screen when he said it. I believe it was info@Premier Streamers. Whatever it is, it'll be posted there. And I'll probably repost it right here. So look at the bottom of the screen now. For all our audio listeners, sorry. And, hey, is it rundown time?
I
Sure
think
is.
it is.
I think it is. Well, is there something that just grinds the fucking absolute piss out of your gears? And sometimes life happens and it's like, what the fuck type of stuff? Well, that would be something that Brad could probably relate to because he does a little rant stanting. And so that is at Yes Man Brad for all of your rant and stanting needs. And talk about, watching and listening along to that. I think it strikes a, certain demographic when that happens. And that would be something that our main man, Devin, would cover. That is at Devin D19 for a little Devin's demographic. And if there's something you, want to talk about or something that you're watching along with, shoot it to Devin, That is Devin D19. And what better way to watch stuff than to, cook and have some food. That would be Mike's Meat Minute or Mike's Marinade Minute or the Saucy 60 Seconds or whatever, you know. But yeah, for all of your food needs, culinary arts needs, there you go. You can hit up Mike's Meat Minute and Mike at Whitaker 1028. And, you know, he busts out some bonus episodes too. He busts out, you know, like just be paying attention because Mike's doing the damn thing, you know. So you never know what's going to happen.
Stay tuned.
What better way than to sit back and relax with some funny ass jokes? And that's the type of hilarity that you can only get at Wakka Wakka Wakka. And that is our main man, Adam. That is Adam_from_Bama. Adam from Bama. And you could follow him, you know, send him your best dad jokes. And hey, there may be a couple interviews that he may be shitting out. You never know. So there's a lot of bonus episodes there too. So that is Adam_from_Bama. And we are your show. That's right. The Kickout Crew. You can follow us at Kickout Crew. You can follow us on Instagram at Kickout Crew. We have a TikTok. Hey, Kickout Crew. You can like, subscribe, and comment on YouTube videos. And guess what? That is Kickout Crew also. So, you know, we like to keep it simple on your show because, you know, some things don't always go as planned. And sometimes when, like, you know, sickness will get you down, you just fucking kick out at two. And you get up, stand up, and you never give up. And that's what we do here, you know, on your show. That's right. You know it. You love it. We're here for you. If you need an escape and if you need 5 friends, just tune in. Kick out at 2, always. That's what we do on your show, The Kickout Crew. Had a great episode. Had a fun time. And can't wait to see you guys next week. And
Peace.